One of the easiest ways to lose someone at the beginning of a YouTube video is to start in the wrong place. And I don't say that to scare you. I say it because a lot of beginners do this. They press record, they finally get the courage to start talking, and then they begin with, "Hi everyone, welcome to my channel." Or, "My name is Kathy." Or they start telling the whole story of why they decided to make the video before the viewer even knows why they should keep watching. And I get it. Because when you're nervous, starting with yourself feels natural. It gives you a second to warm up. It feels polite. It feels like what you're supposed to do. But on YouTube, the first 30 seconds have a job. And the job isn't to tell your whole life story. The job is to help the viewer understand, this is for me. This person understands my problem. And if I stay, I'm going to get something useful. That's it. That's what your first 30 seconds needs to do. Not impress everyone, not explain every detail. Just give the person watching a reason to stay. Hi, I'm Kathy, and I started YouTube at 55 with no tech background, no fancy setup, and plenty of nerves. And this is part 4 of my Camera Confidence After 50 series. In the last video, we talked about how to stop sounding like you're reading. We talked about why memorizing can make you sound stiff, why your script needs to sound like you, and why you can use bullet points, a teleprompter, or editing to support you. Today, we're talking about what to actually say in the first 30 seconds of your video. Because once you finally sit down and press record and look at the camera, the next question is usually, okay, how do I start clearly and get to the point? So let's make this simple. Your first 30 seconds should do 3 things. Start with the viewer's problem, tell them what they're going to get, and give them a reason to keep watching. That's it. Problem, promise, reason to stay. Let's start with the first one. Start with the viewer's problem, not your name, not your channel, not a long welcome. The viewer's problem. Because people usually click a video because something is going on in their life. They need help. They're confused or they're overwhelmed. They're stuck or they're trying to figure something out. So when your video starts by naming the thing they're already feeling, they lean in. They think, okay, she gets it. For example, if your video is about freezing on camera, you could start with, if you sit down to record and suddenly forget every normal thought you've ever had, this video is for you. That immediately tells the right person, this is about me. If your video is about thumbnails, you could say, if you've made a thumbnail and then wondered why nobody clicked, this talks about what might be missing. Do you see the difference? You're not starting with yourself. You're starting with them. And that matters because people aren't trying to be rude. They just need to know very quickly whether this video is worth their time, especially now. People have so many options. They're scrolling, clicking, and deciding fast. So your opening needs to say, I know why you clicked. That's the first job. This doesn't mean that your story doesn't matter. Your story matters. Your experience matters. Your personality matters. Your life matters. But in the first 30 seconds, the viewer needs to see where they fit before they can care about the rest. That's not harsh. That's just how attention works. They need to know, why am I here? What am I going to get? Is this person going to help me? Once they know that, then you can bring in your story. Then your story has purpose. Then your own life experience becomes useful. And your example helps them understand. But if you start with your whole backstory before they know what the video is even about, they might leave before you ever get to the good part. And I don't want that for you. Because people over 40, 50, or 60, we have enough content for years. I mean that. Every lesson, every mistake, every hard season, every time something finally clicked, every problem you solved, everything you wish someone had told you sooner, that's content. That's not just your life. That's the material. But the key is learning how to turn your life experience into something that helps the person watching. That's the shift. Not, here's my life story, but here's something I learned that might help you too. That one sentence can change everything. You can literally say, here's something I found useful. Maybe you'll find it useful too. That's such a simple and honest way to begin. It takes the pressure down. You're not standing there saying, I am the expert of the internet. You're saying, this helped me. Maybe it'll help you too. And that feels human. That feels approachable. And for a lot of beginner creators, especially those of us over 50, that's a much easier place to start. Now let's talk about the second thing your first 30 seconds should do. Tell them what they're going to get. Once you name the problem, give them the promise. Not a huge promise, not some dramatic thing that you can't even deliver, just a clear reason to stay. For example, by the end of this video, you'll know the simple 3-part opening I use so you don't have to ramble at the start of your videos. Or today I'm going to show you how to start your video with the viewer's problem, what they'll get, and why they should keep watching. That tells them what they're getting. It gives the video direction. And it helps you too, because now you know where you're going. A lot of rambling happens because the video starts without a clear promise. You press record and just start talking. Then one thought turns into another thought. Then you remember something else and you end up explaining too much. Then you hear yourself rambling and you get frustrated. And you stop and start over. The problem isn't always that you talk too much. Sometimes the problem is that you didn't give yourself a clear starting point. A clear promise gives both you and the viewers something to hold on to. It says, this is where we're going. And that's calming for you and for them. The third thing your first 30 seconds should do is give them a reason to stay. This can be very simple. You don't need to hype it up. You don't need to say, watch until the end every 5 seconds. You just need to make them feel like staying would be worth it. For example, if you're tired of restarting the beginning of every video, this will give you a simple way to begin. Or if you've been starting with welcome to my channel because you don't know what else to say, I'm going to give you a better option. That gives them a reason. They can picture the benefit. They know what problem you're solving. Now let's talk about what not to do. Don't start with a long welcome. You can say hi, you can introduce yourself, but don't spend the first 30 seconds warming up while the viewer is waiting to find out why they should stay. A lot of beginners say, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kathy, and on this channel I talk about, that's not wrong, but it's usually not the strongest opening because the viewer hasn't decided to care about the channel yet. First, help them, then invite them in. A stronger opening might be, if you freeze the second the camera turns on, this video is for you. Today I'm going to show you a simple way to calm your brain down before you record. Then after that, you can say, hi, I'm Kathy. That works better because now the viewer knows why they're there. The problem comes first. The introduction comes after. Don't start with your entire life. This is especially hard if your story is part of why the video matters. And for my channel, the story matters a lot, but the story needs to serve the viewer. So instead of starting with, when I first started YouTube, I was nervous and I bought this and I tried that and then this happened. You might start with, if you bought the tripod, wrote the script, sat down to record and still froze, I know exactly what that feels like. Now you've brought your experience in, but it's still connected to them, and that's the difference. You aren't removing yourself, you're aiming yourself. Your story becomes the bridge, not the whole opening. And I want to say something here that may help take some pressure off. People are watching your video for what it can do for them, not because they're studying you. And that can be freeing in a way, because when you're new, it kind of feels like you're the subject. Your face, your voice, your background, your mistakes, your age, your everything. But really, the viewer is usually thinking, can this help me? Does this answer my question? Can I take the next step? That means you're not the subject. The change you want to help them make is the subject. You're just the one holding the door open. You're standing there saying, here, this helped me. Maybe it can help you too. And in that moment, you disappear in the best way possible. Not because you don't matter, but because the focus shifts from how do I look to how can I help? And that's when recording gets easier. You stop making the video about whether you're impressive enough, and you start making it about whether the person watching can leave with something useful. That's the mindset I want you to bring into your first 30 seconds. Not, do they like me, but do they know I can help? Because people are hoping you have something that helps them. They clicked because they want something, an answer, a next step, a little courage, a simple explanation, or a reminder that they're not the only one. So give them that as quickly as you can. Now here's a very simple first 30-second formula. You can write this down. Number 1, name the problem. Number 2, say what they'll get. Number 3, tell them why it matters. That's it. Here's an example. If you sit down to record a YouTube video and suddenly start rambling, this video is for you. I'm going to show you a simple 3-part opening you can use so you know exactly what to say in the first 30 seconds. Because once you know how to start, recording feels a lot less overwhelming. That's the problem, the promise, and a reason. Let's do another one. If you're over 50 and you want to start YouTube but feel like you have no idea what to say, this video is for you. I'm going to show you how to turn one lesson from your own life into a simple video idea, because you probably have more to say than you think. Again, problem, promise, reason. One more. If you've been staring at YouTube Studio wondering what any of these numbers mean, this video is for you. I'm going to show you the 4 numbers beginners actually need to look at and which ones you can ignore for now. Because YouTube analytics should help you make the next video, not make you want to quit. That's a strong opening. Not because it's fancy, but because it's clear. You can make this sound like you. You don't have to use the exact formula word for word. You can say, if you've been struggling with this, let's make it simpler. Or, here's something I wish I knew sooner. Or, here's something I found useful. Maybe you'll find it useful too. The wording can change, but the structure stays the same. Problem, promise, reason. That's the part that keeps you from rambling. And if you're nervous, just write out the first 30 seconds more carefully than the rest of the video. You don't have to script every single word, but script your opening. Because once you get through the first 30 seconds, your body often relaxes a little. The hardest part is starting. So give yourself a good starting line. Don't leave that part to chance if you know you tend to freeze or ramble. Write it down. Practice it out loud. Make it sound like you. And then record it in pieces if you need to. Which brings me to another practical tip. Use B-roll. B-roll is extra footage you put over your talking. It might be your hands typing, a notebook, your YouTube Studio screen, a cup of coffee while you're planning, maybe a walk outside, a close-up of your checklist, anything that supports what you're saying. And B-roll is helpful because it takes the pressure off you being on camera the entire time. You don't have to stare into the lens for every second of the video. You can record a section, pause, look at your notes, record another section. Then cover some of those pauses or cuts with B-roll. That makes the video feel smoother and it makes recording feel less overwhelming. You don't have to do the whole thing in one take. You don't have to sit down and deliver a perfect video from beginning to end. You can record, pause, look down, start again, add B-roll later, edit out the parts where you had to find your place. That's not cheating. That's how videos are made. And if you're starting YouTube after 50 and already feeling nervous on camera, this can make the whole thing feel much more doable, because sometimes the pressure isn't just, what do I say? It's, how do I say it on camera the entire time without losing my mind? You don't have to. You can use visuals, screen recordings, or simple shots from your day. And you can use B-roll to give yourself some breathing room. Now let's pull this all together. Once you start your next video, don't begin by asking, how do I introduce myself? Ask, what problem is the viewer bringing with them? Then ask, what am I going to help them do? Then ask, why does that matter? That's your opening. And after you say that, then you can introduce yourself. Because by then, the viewer already knows. She understands why I clicked. She's going to help me with something specific. This might be worth watching. And that's what you want. Not a perfect opening, just a clear one. So here's the simple template. If you've been struggling with, insert your problem here, this video is for you. Today I'm going to show you what they'll get so you can, why it matters. That's it. Fill it in. If you've been struggling with what to say at the beginning of your YouTube videos, this video is for you. Today I'm going to show you a simple way to start your first 30 seconds so you can stop rambling and give people a reason to keep watching. That could be your opening. And once you get comfortable, you can loosen it up. You can make it warmer and make it sound more like you. But at the beginning, a template helps. It gives your nervous brain somewhere to land. And that's what we're trying to do in this whole series. Not make you perfect, but make starting feel possible. Because camera confidence after 50 isn't about becoming some polished version of yourself. It's about learning how to show up, help one person, and keep going. So don't start with your whole story. Don't spend the first 30 seconds welcoming people before they know why they should stay. And don't make yourself the subject of the video. Start with the person watching. Start with the problem that they came with. Tell them what they'll get. Give them a reason to stay. Then let your story support the lesson. That's how you start without rambling. I'm Kathy. I started YouTube at 55. And if you're over 50 and trying to figure out what to say when the camera turns on, I hope this gave you a simple place to begin, because you probably have more to say than you think. You just need to start in the right place. In the next video of my Camera Confidence After 50 series, we'll talk about how to talk like yourself on camera so you can feel more natural and less like you're performing. The goal is to sound like your natural self. I'll see you in the next one.